Hello again, everyone, and welcome back one more time. This is Tom Nelson, and this is the Diabetes Control video lesson series, 6 Steps to Gaining Complete Control Over Your Diabetes. This is video lesson number 5. This is step number 1, part 2. We're talking about restoring leaky gut and bacterial diversity in your gut. Previously, you learned that the beginning steps towards restoring the bacteria Butyrate family of bacteria and restoring it back to its rightful dominant place. You began taking extra virgin coconut oil and extra virgin olive oil to rebalance the candida yeast fungi in your intestines along with parasites. They had taken over your gut as you lost your beneficial bacteria. They normally control those things, but because of bad diet, not feeding your epithelial cells, you caused your gut to lose some of its beneficial bacteria balance, and that resulted in candida and parasite overpopulation. So this extra virgin coconut oil and extra virgin olive oil kill those on site, and they rebalance it. They restore your gut so that there's room and the proper environment for the beneficial bacteria when you do replace them. You stopped eating processed foods and unhealthy oils. You started taking potato starch and apple cider vinegar daily to produce massive amounts of butyrate. Now you're going to add some more things. You're going to start taking about 2 tablespoons of chia seeds every day. They're not only just a probiotic, they're very high in fiber. They contain all 8 essential amino acids, which you can only get from your diet. Your body can't produce them. So this is an excellent source for that. You're also going to start taking 2 to 4 tablespoons of flaxseed every single day. Start eating an alkaline diet. A wide variety of vegetables is in order. Drink lots of beef stock. Beef stock is the same as beef broth, except that it doesn't have the added salt and other additives. So organic beef stock is what you should be looking for. Start eating fermented foods daily. Things like sauerkraut, kefir, which is a fermented dairy drink, kombucha, pickled beets, pickled herring, cottage cheese, sour cream, and a very limited amount of cheese. And there are others. Anything that's fermented, and preferably low fat. They are rich in probiotics, all of those things, and that's why you're going to be consuming them. Start taking probiotics daily along with that, and that's after a few weeks of taking those coconut and olive oils to restore room and allow the new probiotics to survive when you do take them. And of course, if you're taking the prebiotics, it's going to be feeding these new probiotics as you add them to your intestines. So the best probiotics are going to have very high number of living organisms of probiotics in each one of the servings. The one I take has 85 billion different living organisms, and it has 34 strains. You should be looking for something in that range. You can't buy them at a pharmacy or at a box store. You're going to have to go online or to a health food store to find them. And they should be needing refrigeration after you buy them. If they're not in a refrigerated case when you do buy them, they're probably not the best quality. So backing up a little, the prebiotics were taken to feed the Butyrate bacteria and the Firmicutes to restore their populations. And remember, we said that the prebiotics feed the Butyrate 60% and the Firmicutes 40%. So it'll take a while, but it will get there. This is not a fast process, but you will get there, and you should see some significant improvement within a few months. For some people, it takes up to a year. The good news is that while this is happening, the good bacteria are getting rid of the bad bacteria along with the coconut oil and the olive oil and all of the other things you've been doing. So as long as you watch your diet, they will not reestablish and take over all over again. So how do you track your progress? Initially, you had more than likely some intestinal discomfort when you started taking some of the prebiotics like the potato starch, and that's because you were feeding the pathogens along with the beneficial bacteria. But over time, over the 1 to 2 weeks, as you built up your prebiotic volume, you started breaking those down and killing some of them off, and that problem should have gone away. Changes in your bowel activity are going to be your clue as to your progress, and that's basically improvements in your motility rate. The motility rate is how fast foods move through your intestines. That is basically increased by the beneficial bacteria that are going to stimulate the muscles around your intestines that are going to control the motility rate. So there's a scale called the Bristol Scale. It's from a university in Bristol, as it may sound, and the Bristol Scale gives you an illustration. You can find this online if you want to print it down, but the scale goes from left to right, and you're probably on the far left of this scale. You can tell from these stools, these types, just exactly how well you are doing. For example, the far left is very hard, large lumps, and almost basically constipation. That is one of the worst case scenarios. That is a very good indication that your gut bacteria is very seriously out of balance. And as you improve your intestinal balance, you're going to move towards the center of this scale. And second one is very large, lumpy, but a single stool. And then it'll progress into a softer, larger stool with cracks in it. And then finally, 4 in the center is exactly where you want to be. That's where you're going to have the ultimate balance for your health. And that means you're on the right track. If you're still to the left of that, then just keep doing what you're doing. If you start to move to the right of that, where your stool starts to get progressively softer and wetter, right to the point of the far right is actual liquid, that is an indication that you've gone too far. As soon as you start moving to the right of that center, you should start backing off. Maybe cut back on your probiotics, cut a little bit back on your prebiotics, but keep going with your fiber and keep eating your better diet, and it will straighten itself out. But that is how you're going to know how you are doing, just by what you see every day when you have a movement. So each category is due to a specific bacterial mix. Too far to the right is the wrong mix. Too far to the left is the wrong mix. So your motility rate, again, is going to improve, in fact, substantially, because the good bacteria, as that population increases, is going to repeatedly and more progressively stimulate the muscles in your intestines to speed up your motility rate. So summarizing, start taking those 2 tablespoons of extra virgin coconut oil and extra virgin olive oil, and you should do that for at least 3 weeks. There's no harm in continuing this indefinitely. These 2 oils are healthy forms of oil. They will help your body in absorbing, storing, and utilizing the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. They are very important. You'll learn more about that in the next video series. Start taking 4 tablespoons of potato starch daily. Start taking 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar daily. Stop eating all processed foods. Read the label. Do not buy anything that has any chemical additives. Stop eating wheat, soy, corn, dairy products, sodas, artificial sweeteners like aspartame and Splenda. Those are absolutely out. Limit caffeine and alcohol. Stick more with green tea that has a different form of caffeine that's not as harsh or problematic. Eat low glycemic index and high alkaline diet foods. Consider eating unflavored gelatin instead of meat products. Drink the kefir and the kombucha tea daily. However, for men, you should probably not drink kefir if you have prostate cancer in your family history, because the proteins, the dairy proteins, are very highly likely to promote that. And then monitor your progress. So now proceed to lesson number 5, step number 1, part 3. You're going to be surprised to learn that there is such a thing as a beneficial virus. You now know that there's a beneficial bacteria and that your life literally depends on it. The beneficial bacteria don't take a back seat to anyone. They are equally as important as your beneficial bacteria. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and please pay it forward. Share what you learn with others. Thank you.